Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the West Ham Network for another version of your match day preview. The big man, Jimbo, is back. Dad, the AK, the Oracle, West Ham, you name it, whatever, old school West Ham. Anyway, Dad, listen, we've got the international break. We've had it. It's gone. Quite glad to put it behind us now, just now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, get our boys back and concentrate on what they're best at.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, listen, we had quite a lot of players now because we've making big signings in the market. We've got a lot of international players who had game time. But one player in particular that didn't have any game time at all was Jared Bowen. I mean, he was chosen to go with the England setup, but he didn't obviously play at all.
No.
What impact would that have on him?
I think he's got to realise that. I'd have thought maybe Jared Bowen might be thinking the opposite to what you're thinking, which is the fact that I might be settled now in that squad. It could be that Southgate has said to him, look, or hinted that he's going to be in there and he just wants to try a few other people out before the World Cup.
I suppose the way to look at it is maybe it's his position to lose. And the way I kind of describe that would be that, you know, if it's his position to lose, we've got 12 games now before the World Cup breakup that he's got 12 games to turn his opportunity at West Ham around because he's not started off well. No. We know he's a great player. We know he was fantastic last year, but he hasn't been performing to the standards he did last year. But this is an opportunity now for West Ham to see the best of Jared Bowen and prove why he should be on that plane to Qatar.
Well, I think like with the England game, really, I mean, we didn't really play very well as an England team. And so I think he's the player that can come on and change that game. But however, he wasn't used. I think they used other people just to see what would happen. So yeah, he's got let him come back to us now. Let him get in the starting lineup, get going, and do what he does best for West Ham, and then that will enhance his chances to go to the World Cup.
What I also find interesting with international players in the international break, and I'm not a fan, and I don't think many people in the chat, you know, they're delighted to have Premier League football back. But when it comes to international football, we've saw Scamacca start for Italy, have some game time for Italy up front. We saw Paqueta move into the central of midfield, playing alongside the defensive midfielder. And we've seen Thilo Kehrer play out at right back, which a lot of fans are calling for. Question for you, Dad. Now, I get it. David Moyes has got West Ham to concentrate on. But he must look at those players who play for the international clubs and go, okay, there's maybe something in it.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, why not? I mean, if you're looking at particularly the Germany game, I thought the German defense, the German team played really well against us. And I like the way he played, Kehrer, as well. And he's one of our players. And why not? You know, he analysed how he played for Germany. And if he feels that he wants to give him a try at where Germany are playing him, then give him a chance to play there.
Now, a player whom is on the cusp of everyone's tongue, you know, when we're talking about him, is Tommy Soucek. He's been a very good servant to West Ham so far since he's joined the club. Yeah. But we can't take away from the fact that his form has dipped. Yeah. His running stats have dipped. His contributions have dipped. His passing has dipped. But that's not just for club. That's also for country. Now, there's a lot of fan base calling for a switch up in that role. Now, people have been calling for the young lad we signed from Swansea, Flynn Downs, to make the step in. He came in, played a Europa Conference League game, got man of the match, but for the next game didn't feature. And now there's a lot of people talking about Lucas Paqueta having to actually West Ham finally not playing two central defensive midfielders. Moyes has relied heavily on two central defensive midfielders, but in order to make the most of the new players we've got, you can't help but feel that we need to transition as a team and be a little bit different to what we have been because it's not been a great start.
Well, yeah, maybe some truth in what you're saying there. However, I think Moyes may just stick with what he knows, and even though Soucek may not have started that brilliantly well, I still feel that Moyes will stick with Soucek. I really think he will. I think he'll hold that pattern that he's got at the moment.
I think I think the question then I would ask to you is, and I know we're fans and we're not doing the job essentially, but you know it's good to have an opinion on it, I suppose. But if your player isn't performing to the highest of standards, then why do you, in theory, not reward? I'm mindful of the words I'm choosing here, but why should Soucek start? I'm not digging him out individually. There's other players that I don't think have been top-notch performing. The name there on the t-shirt, Safal as well. But you know, the two checkmate guys have been fantastic for the club, but they haven't been performing this season. So What message would that send to the other players if they aren't performing to that level and still getting chosen?
I don't really know. I can't really answer that one. I mean, as far all I can reiterate is that I feel that he's basing everything on what they've done in the past when they first came into the club, both Sufel and Soucek, how brilliant they were. And I think Soucek, he's not had as disastrous season as some people are making out. So therefore, I think he will stick with that. The message going out to the other players may be, well, it might be disappointing for them, but maybe Moyes is saying, look, we've got to give him another couple of more runs before he gets pushed to changing the format.
Yeah, for me, I don't agree with you, Dad, on that.
No,
I think Tommy Soucek absolutely has to be rested. I think it's vital for West Ham to progress that Soucek has to sit out the team, get that rest that he so needed. But West Ham need to try something new. We've gone 7-8 games and it's not looking great in the Premier League, but we've got strength and depth there that can really change that up. And if we look at the international side of Brazil and how they maximize their players, I get international is very different and they have all different players around them, but Paqueta consistently plays in that role in beside the central defensive midfielder. And when he played for Lyon, he played as a not a central defensive midfielder. He doesn't have to, because he gets stuck in. We've saw Paqueta get stuck in, but he can drive forward. And I think that's the change, one of the changes we need to make. But the other key question.
So you're talking about bringing in Paqueta and dropping Soucek.
I'm saying, well, Paqueta will be in the team. I'm saying dropping him into his original role rather than having him in behind the striker, actually pull him in alongside Declan Rice. Therefore, not relying heavily on the central defensive midfielder position that Tommy Soucek has been in and not performing in. And there's always a place for Tommy Soucek in our squad, in my opinion. I don't agree with some of the fans saying absolutely he should go. I don't agree with that. But I think that we need to shake it up a bit. We need to, if rumours are to believe, some people are saying that David Moyes has only got 5 games. Depends on what you believe on that situation. But we do need to pick up points. We've got 12 games before the winter break for the World Cup, and if we don't have a good-ish 12 games, the pressure is on.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, and he's going to have to face up to that one. He's used to 12 games to go. We've got to perform. We can't stay in the bottom. If we're in that in the next few weeks, we're going to be in a relegation situation for the season. We do not want that. When actually on the other side of it, on the other coin, we're doing well in Europe.
Yeah.
And as you say, one or two of the players are performing well when they play for their countries as well. So what you want them to do is to come back and replicate the international duty into our team. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Everything that they get from playing internationally. We said, someone like Paqueta playing for Brazil, you can't play for any better international team than Brazil.
No, you can't.
So you want him to come back and put some of that shine that he has with them and some of all that confidence that you get playing in a team like that back into our team.
Absolutely. Moving on to, we'll come on to Wolves in a second, but Jamaica, Mickey Antonio, he played 87 minutes on Tuesday evening, I think Wednesday morning, and for us, he's flown back from America. Last year, we relied heavily on even getting him involved, but I think there's maybe an inclination there that it could be a change up top and giving Scamacca the run out he needs, and he does need a run out.
He does need a run out, yeah, for sure. He needs a run out, and again, as I say, the journey times for Antonio on his international break are different again. So why not give Scamacca a go? I love the guy, and in fact, when he played for Italy against England, I thought he was absolutely he was brilliant. There was a bit in me saying, "Go on, get a goal," just to boost up the West Ham side of things. But I'd definitely give him a run.
Yeah, he does. I think he needs a bit of run of consistency in playing and stuff like that. Anyway, Wolves are struggling. Wolves are also struggling. So this game doesn't read well in the statistical world of football in terms of West Ham haven't scored a goal, I think, in the first half of this season, and Wolves haven't scored a goal in the second half of the season during their games. So they're struggling. They've got a manager under a lot of pressure, and he is under a lot of pressure. We've had, obviously, Talking Wolves on, which you'll see from yesterday, so make sure you go and check that out. When Talking Wolves came on, and he said, the manager is under pressure. They don't get something over the next 3 or 4 games, and apart from West Ham, they play pretty much a lot of the teams in the top 4. They're struggling, but they've brought in a player who's not been unattached for a little while, but we all know about him, Diego Costa. And the fear then is that, first game in, debut, can he do something against West Ham?
He's the type of player that will want to come back and prove himself. The thing is with him, his temperament and everything like that could shake us up a little bit, because he's not shy. The only thing is he might be tempted to be temperamental in that game and get a card or something, or maybe a double card, I don't know. But he's going to try and prove something against any team that he comes back of. He's going to be given the opportunity by Wolves, so he's going to do his best.
Big game for both the clubs. Huge game, really, at this early stage of the season for West Ham. Sitting in the bottom three, it's not great, but it's still early doors.
It's not a huge game, is it? I mean, it
is
to get us out of the relegation zone. You mean?
I just think it is. No, I think it is. I think
we're fighting to get in the top six.
Yeah, I know, but it's
a critical game.
It's a yeah. I think if you listen to David Moyes weekly, he goes on about consistency, motivation, and right now the consistency is not there. So he will want that to start. And this is like the kind of, for me, this period of games now coming into the winter window is so vital for West Ham to make the changes that we need to make in the team. Like it's vital that these changes get made, because we can't keep doing what we're doing. Because currently, people could say we've been a little bit unlucky in some of the games. The Chelsea game, absolutely unlucky. But some of the performances haven't been great. Moyes himself is actually saying some of the old school players at West Ham are letting me down. So, that's another hint to potentially changing it up as well. When it comes to the game, though, Dad, Saturday, 5:30 kickoff in the evening. It's live on the TV. Pressure, the game's got the ability to go anyway, really. The pressure could get on top of the two teams and it could die a death, really, the game. But if you had to come for a prediction, I mean, it's really important we get the victory on the board. But
we get the victory, but I don't know. I think you've summed it up there. Both teams are not wanting to lose anything, so therefore, unfortunately for me, I think it's going to be a draw.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to try and push for a win. I'm pushing for a win on the basis that if some of the changes that we're suggesting, again, we're not professional managers and stuff like that, but I think if some of the changes are made, then we can see a positive shift in the team. The players have now had their chance to bed in. They've bedded in. And I think we will concede, because we tend to concede. Wolves aren't scoring a lot of goals, but equally West Ham aren't scoring a lot of goals. But I think we've got the tools there to score the goals.
The tools are definitely there, yeah. I mean, if just as a striking point of view, if Scamacca can head and hit and turn like we know he can do, then there's a potential sitting there looking at us. So hopefully he will do that against them. That's what we want. If he's picked, of course, if he gets that starting lineup.
I think that's the key part now is making sure that these players are picked. Anyway, Dad, thank you for joining us again on another match preview. We've got a lot of games coming up, so Dad will be featuring for every preview moving forward as well. But if you are new around here and you are interested in becoming a member, please click the membership option. Please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the thumbs up. And of course, as after every show, we do like to thank all of our channel members. Take it easy. And of course, come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.
It's like a family tree, part of you.